Hello. Hi. It's Amy, Birds and Bees and Kids. Just Say This podcast, my super casual, kind of a newsletter style podcast and video. Hi, if you're looking at me. Welcome to How to Talk to Your Kids About Pleasure. Yeah, we have sex and do sexual stuff because it feels good. That is the whole reason for any kind of touching each other, touching yourself, being sexual, being romantic with somebody. It's about pleasure. And your kids have a fundamental human right to know that and to know that really early on. Sex without pleasure, as I know you've experienced, especially if you are a female body parts person, is a really common thing. And I think that it is time to make sure that our kids know that that is the goal of sex. The baby making thing, it is a sideline and of course should be something that is planned for and prevented, if pregnancy could possibly happen. So the time and the place to introduce pleasure is when you're talking about reproduction, and you should tell your kids, like, hey, when people choose to do this, and it feels good to their bodies. If you have little kids, like, it feels good to their grown-up bodies. It's something they want to do. It's something they agree to do. And yeah, they can make a baby, but sometimes people just do this because they want to feel good together and close. Their bodies are close together. Very simple. As your kids get older, really, again, talking about, yeah, if there's sex for reproduction, but most of the time people are having sex because it feels good. They want to be sexual with someone. They're having sexual feelings. Telling your kids that, sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. Everybody has their own experience of what it's like to be a sexual person. Not everybody has sex. Some people like to have a lot of sex. Some people don't like any sex. Some people like a moderate amount of sex. And really letting them know that this is the point, the real point. Now, if your kid gets to be about 10, this completely grosses them out. And great, right? I'm not for 10-year-olds having sex. I am for 10-year-olds figuring out masturbation, which we've talked about before, and learning their own bodies and understanding what feels good to them in a sexual way, in a personal way. So experiencing self-pleasure, that's a super important part of having a healthy sex life. I don't want you to shy away from talking about pleasure. If I know for me, if somebody had said to me, hey, while you're having sex, take care of your own business, my sex life, my early sex life would have been way better, but I didn't know to do that. And the difference between 1983, 5, 4 sex and that and me is that I didn't have that information. I didn't have access to that information. So kids are getting information about sex for pleasure now, usually through pornography and conversations with their friends, and it's all hugely magnified. So it looks like sex, rough sex, all kinds of sex should be pleasurable, but they're faking it. When they're seeing porn, that's fake, but kids don't know that's fake, usually because no adult has been saying to them, this is fake. When people experience pleasure, they agree, there's consent, there's conversation. Sorry, that's a reminder for me to take some medication, but I've already took it. So there's agreement, there's consent, there's conversation. It's slower. There's unspoken communication, which takes practice, right? To learn what those different signs mean. But this inundation of pleasure, I'm air quoting, you can't see me, you can see me, this idea from porn that everything that happens in a sex situation, I'm like all about the air quotes, in a sex situation is real, has got to be debunked. You have to talk about sex for pleasure. Doesn't look like that. People don't do those things. They don't make those sounds. Their bodies don't look like that. Their penises are not that big. Their breasts are not that big. People have pubic hair, and that is all a lie. And the place where there's no lie is that sex should feel good. So as you're laying out the pleasure piece with your kids, it's a drip, right? It's a drip, but your fundamental message should be, this is something that people agree to do, they want to do, it feels good to everybody. And again, talking about different people's libidos, right? Some people are super sexual, some people aren't sexual at all, people are asexual, people have They used to say hypersexual. We don't say that. They're just more interested, have a stronger interest in being sex. The other thing here too is that they will learn what it's like for them, what they're interested in, what they're not interested in. And then we're going to circle back to consent, right? The best kind of sex is when people are in agreement, they're listening to each other, they want to be together, and they like want their partner to feel good. All right. So that's kind of generic, like training wheels sex for pleasure with a little of that porn shit thrown in there because eh. um and then they're gonna figure it out. It's gonna evolve for them. But I think one of the big messages should be that whatever you're thinking and feeling, being grossed out, being interested, that's all normal. And letting them understand that they will sort this out for themselves. So that's my sex for pleasure thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. And always, you can just like email me or whatever, and you're like, oh, you blew it, or could you add this or whatever. I'm happy to amend things. I'll just do it in the next one because remember, super casual. Do you notice how there's no intro and all that crap at the top? Don't you just fast forward over that? I do. Anyway, I think that's it. Let me think if there's anything else. Yeah, that's it. But I think the biggest problem for us is that we can handle the reproduction piece, but the pleasure piece freaks us out. And just side note, telling your kids sex feels good does not encourage them to do it. They're going to do it anyway, right? Nobody told you this stuff. Well, maybe you were lucky, but nobody told you, and you probably did it anyway. Okay, stuff's coming up. I don't know what. I think crushes, but I tried to do that a minute ago, and I couldn't get it out of my mouth, so we'll see. All right, thank you. Let me know if you want help with anything. A couple things. If you are super stuck or just there's a topic you need help with, please schedule a quickie with me. It's a 30-minute consultation. There are links and show notes and whatnot. And then I think that is it. Oh, one other thing. I do virtual parenting classes. So if you have a PTA that you would think would benefit from spending time with me, I'm not like this when I do a PTA meeting. Let me know. I'll help you out. Okay, thanks. Bye.